Happy Tuesday night to you folks. Thanks for tuning in to Heroes Media Group and the TPO Dock Talk podcast. Just real quick before we get going too much further, as a reminder, this episode is not live. We are pre-recorded here, folks. So if you're commenting and I'm not replying to you, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's that this is a recording. And we're doing this. Our guest tonight is a super busy dude, man. This cat is busier than about 5-6 people all combined. So we had to find what schedule worked best, and we're just happy that we got a chance to get him back on the show here and chat with him, catch up, see how he's been, and go through. Before we get to that, let's make sure that we're paying the bills here. As always, our show being sponsored this entire season by the Romans Warrior Foundation. Helping is healing. Go check them out at romanswarriorfoundation.org. Check out the Global War on Terror's Wall of Remembrance, the Stop 22 Tour, our little division, which is the Field Ops Division, and, of course, the Hoosiers with Hearts Disaster Relief Team. Lots of different ways that the foundation brings healing to local communities all across this nation here. So check them out there. If you're looking to support, volunteer, get behind, you can see them there at Romans Warrior Foundation, any one of the socials. And, of course, make sure that anytime we're out there, hashtag that helping is healing. All right, the bills are paid. On the TPO front, like I said, we would do some updates here and there. We're going to save that for the live shows. We got a lot of things working, like we said last week on the show there. We got a lot of stuff in the hopper right now we're super excited about. We're really making a lot of moves when it comes to different events, things that we're planning, but we'll cover that back on the live shows here. Last but not least, just as a reminder, again, this is not a live show. I've had a few people ask me questions here and there. This is a recording. All right. So having said that, I met this dude a long time ago, man. When I say long for me on the kayak side of things, this guy was very instrumental in helping me navigate early on the kayak fishing scene and understand some of the big players that were going on out there, and of course, with kayaks just in general. And then to take the TPO Dock Talk podcast to a new level, his network stood us up for an entire season and gave us a platform the likes of which we had never seen before. And for that, we will be eternally grateful to this guy and all the people behind the Paddle and Fin podcast network. It's a fantastic group of shows, people. Go check them out over there. That's right. The dude I'm talking about is Mr. Brian Schiller. Let's go ahead and get him in here, and then I'm going to have to screw around with the screen. Oh, it did it on its own. Sweet. Yay. What's happening, man?
Not much, man. Good to see you. Good to be back.
You as well, man. Yeah, it's been a hot minute there. Like I was saying, we were talking off air, dude. You've got like a bucket full of hats that you wear. Your day is not a slow and one full of time.
No. It's always a busy schedule, and glad this worked out. We were able to make this happen. Here at Dubro right now, just cranking away with everyday business and getting ready to head back on the road again for some more trade shows.
I was going to say, isn't it show season right now? I mean, that's the big thing, right?
Yeah. We do a lot of industry trade shows in January and February for both fishing and archery, and then come early spring, we do some shows for our RC division, and then obviously ICAST in July. So
that's the big dance, right? That's the main one for the manufacturers and distributors and such.
Yeah, correct.
For sure. We went to our first show. The TPO is a nonprofit. Went to our first show with Marty Hughes over in Auburn, Nebraska. And what a great time over there at his little event. This is the second year, and I have a feeling he's going to build this into something, man. It's a cool location, and man, it was a ton of fun.
Anything Marty does is always top notch. As long as I've known of him and known him, he does everything 110%, and it's always a good time. Whether it's hosting fishing tournaments, doing expos, all kinds of stuff like that. So. Exactly,
man. Yeah, and that's why when he offered this, I told my team guys, I'm like, dude, if Marty Hughes asks you about something, you pay attention, right? Because right. Dude's been doing this long, and anything we can do to follow his lead out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, dude's a pioneer, man, in stuff that we're doing.
truly an OG. He's
Right.
he's been around the whole kayak fishing realm, but fishing world for quite some time. So yeah, when he talks, you listen.
For certain. So let's start with the first thing I brought up here. So the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network, group of shows, fishing of some kind, outdoors life of some kind. Are we back to 7 days a week again, or is it pretty dang close still?
It's not. It is close.
Because I
I
think
know.
when I was there, we were like 5 or 6, something like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, and it's somewhere in that same realm.
Sweet.
So yeah, I mean, we got a whole list of guys. Uh, Sean Lavery just came back with a friend of his talking about river fishing,
Nice.
specifically Susquehanna related. Um, so we got him, John Rapp, Dustin Nichols.
Heck yeah.
Who else? I don't know. There's a whole
There's
list.
so many. Yeah.
All the same old characters. But yeah, that's cranking along. I'm not as involved as I used to be, just because I wear so many hats. But I still help with a lot of things behind the scenes.
I was going to say you don't get a whole lot of chance to do. What was it, Friday Night Bites that you had there for a while? That was a great show, man.
Yeah, I was doing that for a bit, and then yeah, the schedule just kind of filled up, and it was something had to give. So unfortunately, it was that. But yeah, I still hop on like situations like this with you
Oh
and
yeah.
some of the other folks out there whenever I can. Obviously sit down, and chat, fishing, and anything else that goes along with that.
Heck yeah. So you got that stuff. You founded that from long, long ago. And then of course, like you said, right where you're sitting, Dubro Fishing,
Hmm.
along with kind of, that tags with that Dewey Baits. I mean, that's all,
Yeah.
one big happy family right there. I mean, talk to us about Dubro, because you guys keep innovating, man. You keep dropping new products and just cool things out there.
Yeah. So, I mein, Dubro as a company started, this is our 66th year in business. Um, we started in the model aviation world, so RC planes, boats, trucks, cars, things like that, making parts for them. And, in 1982, Dubro Fishing was formed. In 1997, Pine Ridge Archery was formed. So you have three really great American-made brands that kind of all fall under one roof. Um, Basically, fishing and the archery came because um, the family was super involved in fishing and hunting. So it's kind of cool and amazing to see what products we make in the hobby world that also relate to the fishing or archery world and vice versa. So we try to utilize parts and things like that between all three brands, so to speak, and see where we can improve and change things up. Like for instance, our twister track knobs; those are also used on a bow stand product that we came out with last year. So,
No kidding.
we try to, when we design and make products, we try to make them as versatile as possible, so that way we
Wow.
can use them in all our industries, so to speak. So,
Dude, I ever since moving some of my on my limited band, ever since moving a few of my attachments to that,
mhm.
I've been slowly as I acquire them
Yeah,
just swapping them out because those are unbelievable, especially even for old guy hands.
yeah,
Old boxing hands that can sometimes get a little weary at the end of the day. I can still get those, and they don't back themselves off, man. When they're on, they're
no,
on.
no, and that was the biggest thing when we designed the knobs. The biggest thing was focusing on functionality, but then not only that, but exactly like you're saying. I mean, we've all had it where, you're taking a road trip or you're going to a tournament or something like that, jumping boat ramps, and sometimes some of the other knobs on the market back off. And,
Yep.
surprisingly, these things don't. And, they spin up and down track bolts quite quickly. So it saves you a lot of time when you're rigging up and
Heck yeah.
unloading at the ramp. So that was the biggest thing. back in the day, I know you're a new canoe guy like myself. They would come with those plastic knobs, and it took you a century, it seemed like, just to fasten your seat down. So, I mean, that's kind of where this product was stemmed from. So myself and Matt Gibson kind of sat down, talked about it, and kind of worked through all the details, went through a couple different iterations, testing, things like that. And we ended up landing on this. And it's kind of crazy. The more and more that guys and gals find out about it, the more and more you're seeing them on everybody's boats, at the boat ramp, or sitting in the parking lot or whatever. And it's kind of cool. It's cool to see.
And it may sound, I'm normally not the the flashy guy, right? The aesthetics, that's usually the last thing on my list. But I will be the first to admit, I like the different colored track knobs because they stand out to me, and it's like I can see that, and it reminds me, check them, make sure you're good. Yeah. But also it matches the boat, man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, we tried to match like some of the more common boat colors. Like this is the lime green, so you got some boats on the market that have that green. Yep. We also have blue, red, and black. Obviously black is always going to be the most popular. That's what everybody uses, right. And that's probably the color that we sell the most of, since we've come out with these. But guys and gals like that color, that personalization, so to speak, or matching the boat, or even adding it a different color to add a little flair. I know we have a guy that buys them for, he makes catfish rod holders for both kayaks and boats. And that's what he does. So if you got a orange plate, he might put a green knob on there, or something like that. So he does a little offsetting like that, and it's kind of cool. It adds a little flair and pizzazz to the rod holders that he's selling, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, it's all around, utility thing. I get asked all the time, are you going to do this color? Are you going to do that color? We're always open to it. I know we're talking about maybe doing like some limited run special edition colors. So just watch the socials and the website, and if we do those, you'll see them there awesome. First. So
yeah, that was one of the things. Like I said, that there's a few other brands out there that I've tried, and just being straightforward, not down talking to anybody, but they don't come close. These are the real ones. These are the ones you want. Like I said, the fact that when they go on, they're easy on. You can tighten them, and they come off, without needing a wrench, and they don't loosen up, and that's what you want.
You could probably see that. So it's got a stainless steel insert, so no corrosion you have to worry about or anything like that.
Nice.
That was the main key when we went ahead and developed these, is we wanted something that was going to be corrosion resistant, and you weren't going to have an issue where a guy left an accessory on his boat. Now he's getting ready to sell that one and go to the next one. And, now he's got out there with a blowtorch trying to get a knob off to get his accessory off, So that's the beauty of that. And then, this past year at ICAST, we came out with our T-bolts and our track washers as well. So again, like I mentioned at the beginning, we try to utilize parts from our other divisions for other divisions. In this rubber track washer that we use, we actually use this in an archery stabilizer. And it's made of rubber, so it dampens the vibration and the sound shot after shot. So that rubber absorbs the vibration in the bow. But what we found is when you put it on a track bolt and you got that between, if my fingers are the track and your knob or accessory are here, these things are very forgiving. They are a little bit thicker. But they don't squish down and tear like some of the other ones that are out there on your accessories.
Right.
And the more you tighten it down, the stiffer it'll be. Or if you leave it a little loose, if it's something like you're going to bump all the time and you're worried about it, breaking or coming off or whatever, these guys will save. And then not only that, we're right down the road from Catch Products, and he's putting out all these anodized colored tracks and stuff. So if you're spending all that money on specialty tracks and you don't want to scuff up the anodizing from a rod or an accessory, or I'm sorry, a knob or an accessory, these things he sells like hotcakes
Very
to
cool.
protect those tracks. So, yeah.
Good stuff, man. And the thing I love is that this is, American innovation. This is, these little things like this, when you start to mount them all together, man, it just creates a better overall experience when you're out there and you're not getting bugged by the little crap that can sneak up on you and kind of, throw shade on your day, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it all started with this knob, right? And the biggest thing is, in conversations, I was like, what I hate the most is setting up and tearing down at a boat ramp. It just takes forever. And the common factor that I came up with that was taking me forever was the amount of time spent tightening down these stupid knobs to hold everything on. So hence the reason for its performance, so to speak. And then because we had the knob, the T-bolt just made sense. And like I said, the track washers we already had by utilizing in another product. So, the fact that we could carry that over, and, we sell basically this times 4. So a knob, a bolt, and a washer in 4 packs, and we call that the track pack.
Nice.
So, again, we got them in black, orange, red, blue, green. So, great price. It's $24 for all 4 components in one package versus, you got to buy 6 bolts and then 4 knobs and then
hot dogs and buns situation, right?
2 washers. Yeah. So that's another thing that me as a consumer really irritated me. So I'm like, why are you selling 6 bolts and 4 knobs, or 6 knobs and 4 bolts? Like, it's just annoying. Now I got to have 2 extra pieces that I can't use. Right. And it's that old thing of like, oh, we're going to do this because we can make more money, and it's going to force the consumer. We're not that way. We're a family run business. We're honest, American made. So we try to be as consumer friendly as possible.
Love it.
Hence the reason why we do the 444s.
So, and speaking of innovative products there, that cup holder that you guys, that Dubro released, man, that thing, there's some time that was put into that. It's not just a quick cup holder with holes poked in it. There was some true thought that went behind this.
Yeah, very much so. So this, we released at ICAST this past year, 2024. There was several iterations of this, and I probably got 20 of them sitting over there before we finally decided on the finished product. And we basically held up in our conference room for 3 days or 2 days or something like that. Me, Matt Gibson, John Rapp, Dustin Nichols had some input on this as well. And we wanted to make the most utility driven cup holder tool basically that's on the market. And so, I mean, I guess I'll basically start. It's got a built-in line cutter, which is just your standard razor blade. So once this gets dull, it's 1 screw, and there's actually a nut on the bottom here, right there. So you loosen that up, put a new razor blade in. It's $150 for probably 10 razor blades. You can get stainless steel razor blades. The ones that come in the cup holders are actually stainless blades. So you can fit, the eye of a jig head or the lip of a crankbait or whatever it may be. We tested a bunch of baits and cutting with this. So we kind of have these teeth here, so you can't just cut yourself.
Yep.
So it
Love it.
prevents that. But not only that, what I like to do is start at one side, cutting lines. Once that notch gets dull, I move over to the next one, and so on and so forth.
Love it.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry, I don't pay attention, but it is what it is. Um, Obviously, the holes on the rim here, you could hang your baits, but what we also did, I can show you this real quick. We all like to mount things in different spots. T-bolt fits right through there.
Hell yeah.
And we put a lip on the outer ring, so when you go to tighten down, this T-bolt can't swivel. It'll accept any T-bolt, doesn't have to be a Dubro. But I know I got a bunch of photos on the Dubro Fishing page. Matt Gibson likes to mount this on his crossbar in his kayak, and he mounts his phone holder off this.
Oh, good.
So
yeah.
He's got the phone holder pointing back at him, and then baits hanging around the outer rim. And, obviously he's retying with this. We got the plier holder hole here, but one of the important things that we did was these holes on the outside of that plier holder. Yep, that's the photo there.
Yep.
So that's I think that's a Yak Gadget phone holder he's got on there.
Nice.
But that was on the way to ICAST last year, so we always got the good old Waffle House coffee going. So
hell yeah.
But on each side of this plier holder, we made that hole a little bigger because Dustin Nichols was like, I want to be able to use a nice carabiner, so that way if I switch my pliers to another boat or want to pull them off the tether off the cup holder, it's nice and easy. So that's why those two holes are a little bit bigger.
Nice.
On that end. And then obviously you could see the very bottom. What most cup holders don't have is drain holes.
Oh my God, yes.
That came from, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure you've experienced this. You got your boat sitting on the trailer. It rains overnight. You go out to go fishing the next morning, and your cup holder is full of rainwater and baits and whatever garbage you threw in there the last trip out. So that was kind of essential. And we have 3 different ways to mount it. So that's the side rail mount for boat guys. So there's a little notch in the cup holder here, and we got a piece that is a male piece that slides into a piece of gear track there that you would mount somewhere in your boat. This version just drops right into an existing cup holder in any boat, car, truck, ATV, UTV, whatever. And then the track mount piece, there's a little block that goes on the bottom here that accepts the track bolt, and that comes with a 1-inch T-bolt and a track washer. So you can see the one on the left there is mounted in a New Canoe Unlimited. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not just a cup holder, I mean, it does hold a cup, but it's more of a tool than anything, and gives you some more mounting options, and bait hanger, like I said, all kinds of stuff. So it's nice and convenient. When I'm in the big boat, I have these in all our cup holders. All my cutoff line goes in here, and then I can just pull it out at the end of the day, dump it in the trash can, and throw it back in the boat. My track mounted one stays in the kayak 24/7 right next to my seat down on the right hand side. And
nice.
Usually discarded plastics are going in the center if I'm out of coffee, and I got baits hanging on the outside. And not only that, but I can quickly just lean down, cut that line, and retie. Instead of having to find the scissors or having clippers or whatever,
I love it, man.
So it's kind of nice. And that stemmed from a product we also make called the Hangman that was designed back in the late 80s. That was geared towards charter boats on Lake Michigan for retying baits for salmon, trout, lake trout fishing, and things like that. So we basically kind of took that same concept, which we had patented and incorporated it into this cup holder. So
That's slick.
just to add a little more utility.
And the overall principle that you'll see that when you go to Dubro's site and you look at any of the products, or Pine Ridge for that matter, you look at any of the products, this is made by not, somebody who's sitting in an engineering class that has an idea. This is made by anglers, by outdoorsmen that use this stuff daily. And Dubro listens. I mean, you guys listen to what's going on out there. You hear this stuff. You see a problem, you implement and you fix it, man. And that's super cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our ideas around here, we like to say they start on a bar napkin drawing, and and then we kind of talk about it. I start putting it into the CAD program and drawing it that way, drawing up 3D models. Then we'll 3D print it and see what we like, what we don't like, make changes, print it again. At times when we're working on products, there's times where that printer just never shuts off, and we have all these different iterations, and we can kind of add and take away the pros and cons as we work through it, and then we do extensive testing. I mean, this guy we tested for a good 6 months, and like I said, we probably had 20 different versions of this before we came up with the final product, and that was a few of us testing it. Same thing with the knobs. I mean, that was the same thing. We toyed with a few different designs on this, and we ended up coming up with this low profile biscuit style with the wings on the top. It's one of those things, and it's the same in all three of our divisions. We like to do extensive testing, so that way when it comes down to it, we're confident that you're not going to have any issues as the end user, and you're getting a good quality American made product.
Love it, man. And so your involvement definitely with Dubro and then Pine Ridge, but are you also involved on the product side for the RC side of things as well?
Yeah. I'm not the most avid RC pilot, but I have dipped my toes into that world since I started working here. We do have some quote unquote like influencers, but they're more than that. They're guys that have been in the hobby for years. I actually do a podcast every other Monday in the winter months with one of those guys on our RC website, teaching folks how to build or repair model airplanes. I'm usually the butt of those jokes because, like I said, I'm not from that realm, but I've learned a ton about it. And any of that stuff, I'm heavily involved with anything, developing new product wise, and it's not just me, it's our whole team here. Some folks here, I mean, a lot of the folks that work here, they hunt, they fish. Some of them have been involved in RC planes, cars, trucks, things like that. So
Nice.
it's like the made by fishermen for fishermen. Same thing with the archery in the hobby realm. Like
Love
I
it.
said, the original founder of Dubro started because he came up with a way to start some of your gas engines in RC planes.
Oh, wow.
So it started with that in a actually, believe it or not, an old warehouse bathroom where they ripped all the toilets out, and that was his workshop. And now, hence, you fast forward 66 years later, and we have a 40,000 square foot facility. We do all our injection molding in-house, machining, and
Wow.
packaging, shipping. Everything comes out of this building. So, in all three divisions, it's basically 98 to 99% of all the products are either made right here in the USA or come from local areas. There is a very small, minute amount of products that come from overseas, and that's usually because you can't get it made in the States.
Right. Right. That's awesome, man. You know, that's the whole. I love legacy companies. You know, when when I was given the opportunity to join Eagle Claw, it was just such a no brainer, man. I mean, these are names that have been around since we've been kids, man. And it's you know, Dubro's is that it's a legacy organization that's been around. They know what they're, you know, they've seen the ups and the downs, and they've watched this stuff happen, and they're still here building, you know, solid products. You know, this works. Yeah, that's just all there is to it.
You know, it's always been a family-owned business, and on any given day, you can call, and you know, I may answer the phone, or the actual owner of the company may answer the phone. His wife may answer the phone, along with all the other great employees we have here. So, you know, on any given day, you could be talking to the man himself, or me, or anybody else in the office. And you know, it's funny nowadays with all the, you know, AI automated services. It's amazing how many phone calls we get, and it's like, oh my God, a human answered the phone. You know, it's
right?
It's not the robot saying, you know, say this to go here, or say that to go here. You know, where customer service is something we pride ourselves on. And we don't fall short on. There's nothing worse than, you know, when your customer has a problem and now he's got to go through 30 minutes of prompts to get an answer to solve his problem, or a question about a product, or whatever it may be, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, we definitely pride ourselves on that.
So I was looking out, thinking about on the Dewey Baits side, the soft plastics there. So I will tell you, after last year, one that actually rose right to the top for me that became one of my favorites is that little rock lobster. Yeah. Just because our forage out here is so much smaller that we have to go to this little guy. Talk about durable, can take a whooping, and just the lifelike features on those. When it falls, man, those craws come up. It's just a perfect presentation that you see when it's, you know, when it's coming down. But there was also something that caught my eye that you guys, I think it's called the Shake and Bake. Is that that's a new one that brewing up there?
That's my go-to ultimate favorite, like finesse / shaky head worm. Everybody knows I'm no stranger to fishing a shaky head, but when it comes to the Dewey Baits, so again, we work with a company on the hobby side, with a form of plastisol to make our tires for RC airplanes. So we went to them, and we special formulated a plastisol to accommodate our Dewey Baits lineup. Again, those are all made in-house here. Sometimes it's me making them, sometimes it's another guy. But we formulated our own plastisol, so it's super durable.
Yep.
When we were going through the testing phases, again, I'm a shaky head guy, so I was throwing some of the name brands, and I don't want to, I'm not, you know, whatever, but I was throwing some name brands and testing them side by side with this plastisol. And, you know, as most folks know, a lot of plastisols or plastic baits are loaded full of salt, and which essentially causes them to tear easier. So you're going through more plastics, whatever, which is great if you're the company that's manufacturing those, because you're selling baits stuff.
Right.
Whereas, you know, like everybody knows Z-Man and their Elastec, everybody likes it because that plastic doesn't rip and tear. I'm not saying we're Elastec, but when I fished them side by side, I'd be lucky to get 2-3 fish off of one shaky head worm. Then I threw our shake and bake, and I was getting 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 fish off of one plastic bait. So that right there was a huge value proposition for me, and the company as a whole, with the way we designed that plastisol. It's a little heavier duty plastic, but it's still soft. You know what I mean? Like, there's some of those plastic baits out there where it's like hard rubber, like where if you were to throw it on the table here and make a clunk, right? Ours isn't like that. It's soft
Right.
like those other baits. We do use a little bit of salt additive in those baits for weight, but because that plastic in the plastisol is much denser, so to speak, it actually adds some weight to it, so you don't have to sacrifice throwing a ton of salt in there, which breaks down the plastic and makes it weaker. So a lot of upsides from it. But that little rock lobster, I remember I was, when we were going through all the prototypes of that, I was up on Mille Lacs in Minnesota during the smallmouth spawn.
Oh.
And dude, I mean, you would throw that little rock lobster on a Ned head and pitch it to a bed, and it was game on all
Devoured,
day long.
yeah.
And I mean, we caught so many fish, I ran out of those little rock lobsters because, you know, when a smallmouth's on bed or even a largemouth, they're attacking the claws first. So there was a lot of times where they'd go and they'd start running and you'd go to set the hook and all they had in their mouth was that claw. So you were ripping some claws off. But still, again, I mean, unless they did that, you were catching multiple fish on that single bait.
Well, man, and I noticed that last year because I put it on a Ned head and started throwing and just kind of bouncing it, sometimes dragging it.
Yep.
And what I was noticing was the amount of, or the lack of the amount of times that I was just losing a claw. Because normally, you know, I'd get a bite and I'd go to set and pull and I'd come back and she was still intact. Now, again, like you said, I'm not going to, you know, name shame any other product, but there are some products where I barely bump a rock and, you know, I've lost a claw now and now I'm re-rigging and I'm going through. But I wanted to definitely also testimonial back up on the fact that I'm a picky one when it comes to my soft plastics about finding that durability and lifelike, you know, balance. And I hadn't found anything. This is going to make a lot of people laugh, but if you remember long ago, there was a company called Gander Mountain.
Yeah.
Gander Mountain had an in-house product that I would have sworn by. Oh my gosh, their plastics were just the best balance of all to me. And I caught more fish with those. Well, after they went out of business, I'd been on the eternal search until you and I started chatting and I got Dewey Baits in my hands.
Yeah.
Dude, you're right. They're the balance between they are durable, but they still have that lifelike presentation to them. That's just gold, man.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's key. I'm like you. I'm a snob and I fish a lot of soft plastics and I had way too much. I had a soft plastic addiction for a while there where like I was like, oh, I need to buy a couple of these, but you know, you don't just buy like 2 bags in one color, right? You buy 3 bags in 6 different colors, and so on and so forth. And I've gotten to the point now where I've pretty much eliminated any and all other brands of plastics to the point where I take a lot of younger kids out fishing throughout the year, you know, friends of mine's kids or whatever. They'll come out for a weekend or a weekday trip or a weeknight trip or something like that. And I usually end the trip with going back to my house and I'm like, how much can I give them? And I load up these kids with bags of like grocery bags full of soft plastics.
That's
and
awesome.
It's like Christmas to them. It's a benefit because now they're interested in using artificial lures rather than, you know, little, you know, night crawlers or red worms or whatever. Yep. And they have a lot of fun. You know, my one buddy's son in particular, like they live right down the street from the river, not too far from the shop here. And, you know, him and his little buddies, they get together and instead of swapping baseball cards, they're trading soft plastics, which is pretty funny to me. Dude, I get an occasional picture of that, you know, but
planting seeds, brother. You're planting seeds. That is so cool.
Hey man, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, I remember getting, you know, lures and stuff when I was a kid and, you know, you got to encourage these generations. You know, there's nothing that drives me more crazy than seeing a young kid like spends all his time in the house playing on a tablet or something, you know, get outside, run around, get hurt, you know, go catch a fish.
Skin a knee, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I try to
Love it.
encourage as much as possible, but yeah, I mean, since we've come out with the whole Dewey Baits lineup, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, I can't even think of anything offhand that I throw that isn't a Dewey bait. I take that back. What are the Z-Man came out with it. The Dark Sleeper I'll occasionally throw, and then Z-Man's got their version of that. I started throwing the Z-Man one last year. So, I mean, other than those two things, you know,
Sure.
if I'm using a trailer on something or you know, fishing wacky rig or Texas rigged or, you know, shaky head, obviously I'm throwing some form of Dewey baits on there.
That's awesome, man.
And right now all Dewey baits are buy two get one free. So
Oh, no kidding.
if you guys are looking to stock up for spring, there's we got a sale going on right now, buy two get one free.
Just got notification my boat's coming in next week, so I've got the orders placed, got the new gear lineup. So yeah, I got my my new planos. They're these double stack planos.
Sure.
Good buddy of mine, Stony Floyd. He's on our team. He was showing his setup on when it comes to that. And I'm like, oh man, yep, that's where we're gonna go. So yeah, it's in my head. I've been driving by frozen lakes up here, and it's wearing me out. So it's like, okay, I got to bury myself in the tackle, man, and wait for a little bit of thaw to come down through this.
I'm in the same realm, man. I mean, I think it's.
You're probably worse than us.
It was like 18 degrees this morning. So, but we did have a little warm up last week. But yeah, ice fishing has been pretty strong this year in our neck of the woods, and once that temperature starts rising, it's going to be game on. So
what's the next show that you're going to be at, man? What's the next one on your list?
I'll be in Phoenix next week for nice. One of our distributor shows for archery and fishing. It's through Sports Inc. It's mostly an archery show for us. It's a great outdoor show, so we get to meet with a bunch of dealers and catch them up to what's going on new for this year. And we came out with 2 new products this year. One is an alternative to a kisser button. We call it a beak button. So instead of using a kisser, which normally would line up in the corner of your mouth to set your anchor point, you actually use your nose. So it's a small, real small kisser, so to speak. But you can also use it as a micro kisser. And then we also came out with a heavy-duty version of our gear hanger. So for tree stand hunters, saddle hunters, things like that. Basically, you got 3 hooks on a 5-foot cam strap, and just slaps right around the tree. You can hang your bow from it, gun, backpack, water bottle, rattling antlers, grunt tube, whatever it may be, whatever you need to hang in the tree, it'll handle. So
good stuff.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I can't believe I completely forgot on the Dubro side of things. The one last product I wanted to hit you with, unless there's others that you can think of, the rod mounting, the track rods.
Yeah.
This is
we pulled some out. So we got the ceiling mount there, as you can see. So this would mount the track piece, mounts on the ceiling, and then you can hang your rods this way. This will hold 8 rods for $25. So you get 2 pieces. It comes with little end caps that go on the end here, and it's 1 screw in each end. And actually, I got an end cap right there. That's nice. The end cap. So that just slides right into the track, like so.
Perfect.
But you could also hold 16 rods in this, because if you put a butt end on this end and then on the other end put a butt end with rod tip going to this side, it'll hold a lot of rods.
And they're modular too, aren't they? I mean, you can actually attach multiple together if you want as well.
Yeah, and we got little connector pieces to, connect as many as you want. I've seen, so we have a 2-foot version and a 4-foot version in the actual tracker rod series. And I think I've seen, it's got to be 20 or 24 feet along a
Wow.
garage wall, and I couldn't even tell you how many rods were along that wall.
All of them.
Yeah, pretty much. But and that's the beauty of this system is you could mount this on the ceiling,
Yep.
the hooks and J hooks and rings, but you could also mount it vertically and horizontally.
Yeah.
We go this way, doing it backwards. There you
Hell
go.
yeah.
So you can virtually mount them anywhere. We've had, obviously, mount them in the garage. We have a lot of bigger boats that'll mount them, especially down around Florida and the coast and the Gulf there. A lot of those ocean boats will mount them underneath the canopy, so your rods are up above you, out of the way. We also make a little gadget here that holds the big offshore reels.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we've seen them mounted in campers, golf carts, boats, garages, boat houses. Trying to think what else.
Trailers. Yeah.
Yeah, trailers. Yeah, we were
Enclosed
talking
trailers.
about that. Yep. Mike McKinstry has them mounted in his enclosed trailer. We were talking about that before the show here, and yeah, I mean they're the all-around like versatile rod rack, right? And these are all these rings and the hooks are made of a virgin nylon plastic, so it's plastics, a lot of times the scraps get reground, reshot, reground, reshot. And the more and more you heat that plastic up, cool it down, heat it up, cool it down, it makes it weaker. So obviously if you gotta, talking about the offshore rods, some of those rods can be a couple $1,000s. That falls out of your rod rack as you're going through some chop. We're going to have some not so nice phone calls coming our way, right? So we use all virgin nylon material, and that product has been around since the mid 80s, I want to say, late 80s. So it's the rod rack. We always like to say it's the rod rack everybody has, but they don't know who makes it.
Right.
But one of the best rod racks on the market, especially like we were talking about, we've all dealt with like the foam ones where the rods just kind of always fall out. Not going to have that issue. The J hook keeps your rod tip end in, and this is a little rubber piece that we injection mold, and then it gets pressed into this hook.
Nice.
These are fully adjustable. You could see right in there.
Yep.
There's a little set screw that keeps that locked down in the track. All the tracks come with holes punched in it, so that way you can virtually mount it wherever you want, wherever you're mounting it. So.
Well, and the key to this isn't just, a cool thing to have. No, what you're talking about here is rod insurance, man. I mean, this is protecting your gear. They don't give fishing rods away, right? I mean, and you don't want these things either be it in your garage. You don't want them sitting there leaning against a wall. That's you're damaging these things over time or putting extra wear that you really don't need to. The track rods, these rod holders, they're not expensive. They're in a great price. And yeah, man, it's just insurance to me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, basically you're protecting your investment in your fishing gear, and I mean, we've all done it. I've done it, stack a bunch of rods in the corner. Now you got to spend all the time to untangle them. And then hopefully you don't break a rod tip in the process. Or you're having to cut a bunch of lines and restring your rods up because you had to undo the mess from throwing them in the corner. Or, kids are outside in the garage throwing a ball around. They knock all your rods over, not going to happen with a rod rack. So, I mean, for anywhere between 25 and 85 bucks, depending on how many rods you want to hold, you can protect those. And, I was telling you, I got mine mounted vertically in my garage like this. So I stack all my rods. So Up top, I put all my trolling rods for like Lake Michigan and things like that. The rods I don't use all the time, and then I kind of swap out my go-tos as the season progresses, and
nice.
so on. So I love it, man. And you could even what I did is, I'll have a hook here or one of the rings here, and then I'll go a hook kind of like this, if this is one track. So you could stagger them that way. So again, like butt end on this side, butt end on this side. Nice. And you can compact more rods into that package. We sell extra rings and hooks as well, if that's like a layout you want to try or do.
So you can really customize this thing how you want it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. And we got 2 other colors in the track. We offer black and gold, and then the rings and hooks come in either white or black. So
good stuff. Got my cat trying to tell me that she needs to be on the podcast here. Claws are coming up, grabbing me on the leg here.
Sure.
So yeah, man, that's I love it, and that's like I was talking to you. I still need to get some of those for our trailer for the TPO. We want to get some of our rods and such that we have for the Warriors we take out. We want to make sure we can get those up and out of the way so they're not getting beat up and slammed around the trailer as we go flying down the road.
Yeah, man. I mean, we make a lot of tools and just things that make fishing easier. We do some lure making tools, wire leader tools, scissors, knotting tools, you name it.
I love it, man.
We make a lot of gizmos and gadgets that make life easier on and off the water. So
cool. Yeah, it's fun to go to the website and just poke around and start digging into some of the products there and just see what's there, because there's also a lot of good videos that back that stuff up too that kind of help explain a lot of that.
Yeah, we try to do as many how-to videos, especially on some of the tool things. Some of the tools, they could be intimidating when you first get them if you're not sure how to use them or how they operate. I just walked a guy through our Easy Twist Pro yesterday, making a bunch of stinger rigs for fishing. I don't think it was tuna. I forget what kind of saltwater species he was going after down off the shores of the Keys there. But, he was making a bunch of steel leader rigs for live bait rigs, chasing whatever type of fish it was. And, he's like, dude, I don't know why I didn't get this sooner in my life. This makes things so much easier and faster. Right. He's like, I could pump out 50 liters in like less than an hour, whereas before it'd take me like all night or whatever it was taking him before, So again, efficiency and the gizmos and gadgets that make life easier is what we're all about.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Go check it, folks. Check it out. You can, obviously, the @Dubro Fishing that we have up there. You can start there, but you'll see the website and all that, the good information there. You can track straight down some of the photos. There's some hot ones in there, man. Love it.
Yeah.
Good shots of a lot of these tools in action, but also the fish that are coming with it as well. Got some gripping grins. Our buddy Mr. Gibson up there. That's always good to see.
Yeah. We got quite a few guys from the boat world, saltwater world, and obviously the kayak world as well. So
good stuff. Well, was there any other products that you wanted to touch base on? I mean, you guys have so many; it's hard to narrow it down. But these are just some of the big ones.
Nothing right offhand. I can say that we've been working on a bait series, so be on the lookout for that sooner than later.
A bait series. Nice. Hard bait, soft bait?
Soft.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be watching, and Dubro and Dewey will definitely be in the yak with me this year. We'll be throwing those bad boys around out there, and seeing if we can't. I might. You never know. I might get back to I used to also be pretty heavy into shaky head. That was kind of my go-to when I just wanted to get some feedback, right? It's like it catches fish. So that's, if I just want to hear what's going on with the lake, a lot of times I was throwing that.
Sure.
So we'll see.
And that shake and bake, the reason why I like it so much is it's got a flat head. So screwing that screw lock in is a breeze rather than before I was taking and either biting or cutting the head off, and it was just a pain in the butt. Now I can just pick up a worm and just screw it right onto the shaky head and cast it out, and off we go.
Love it, man. Love it. Listen, buddy, I can't thank you enough for stopping by here and talking fishing with me and chatting here. We are definitely thankful for that. And bro, you're still one of those guys that you inspire by the amount of work that you do with all these other companies. You're one of those guys that sets the bar up there that the rest of us are trying to chase out there. So thank you for everything you do, man, for all of us.
No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, no, I know I haven't been in the public spotlight as much lately, but definitely grinding a lot behind the scenes. And I thank you for giving us this opportunity just to jump on and catch up and talk Dubro and Pine Ridge Archery and all the good things that come with that, man. So I really appreciate that as well.
Anytime you're up in his neck of the woods, so next time you see Todd Martins, give him a little flick, tell him that's from Gene down here.
I just worked the Chicago fishing show with him 2 weekends ago.
Nice.
So we were chatting it up, and I will see him. I believe I'll be at the Madison Fishing Show one day.
Okay.
So I'll see him up there. Nice. And
we love some Todd Martins on the Dock Talk, man. He is such a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. All right, brother. Well, listen, thank you so much, folks. Make sure to go out there, give Dubro Fishing, check out Pine Ridge Archery.
You could use all caps promo code postcard at checkout, and that'll save you 10% off your order. Plus, we got the bait special, buy two get one. So
postcard is 10%.
Yep, and then the buy two get one is automatic at checkout. So
there you go.
Yep.
So if you're watching this here and you stuck with us all the way through, now you got yourself 10%. If you didn't, too bad. Sucks to suck.
That'll work at Pine Ridge Archery as well. And if you're into flying airplanes and stuff like that, it'll work there as well.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's probably some FAA regulations making it so I can't do RC flying. I'm sure I'd get in trouble, dog. I'm sure of it.
Believe it or not, it's a little more lax. We partner with the AMA Foundation, and they do a lot with Washington, D.C. and all that stuff. And they're fighting off, a lot of fishermen now that are doing videos and stuff, they're using drones, right?
Yeah.
And that organization does a lot in D.C. to fight those regulations that they're trying to pump through. So.
Yeah, in Colorado, man, you can't fly. I think you have to get a special permit, and they don't hand them away too easy to fly any drone in a state park. They just they don't want you doing it.
Yeah, the state parks is tough, but as long as you're not by any of the military bases out there in the state parks, you're pretty much free range for the most part. And when it comes to drones, most of those have a software background where it's going to block you from flying in places you shouldn't be flying. So.
Yep. And we have, with all of our presence of military out here in Colorado, there's quite a bit through this. Yeah. So that's probably why they're a little bit strict in that regard.
Sure.
Well, awesome. Listen, man, you stay warm up there, and don't forget to get your fishing time in, man, and get you that downtime with the family and such, and keep your batteries charged. And we'll be watching Dubro. We'll be watching you guys there, and of course, check out the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Great shows that they have. They have every night out there. So go ahead and check them out. And man, thank you so much for swinging in.
No problem. Thank you, and thanks again. And hope all you guys can find something over at Dubro that you like. And Gene, appreciate you as always having us on, just being able to catch up and chat, man.
Hell yeah, man. Anytime. All right, folks, you know the routine. Go out there, smash that subscribe button. That's the way you can help the TPO out on our mission. We don't focus too hot and heavy on it, but that is the best way. If you're looking for a quick, easy way, get us a subscribe on YouTube. That's what that'll help us. As always, folks, tight lines. Be safe.